Hey guys, what is going on? Back here for another game review and my first game review of the new console generation. These are some really exciting times and I could not be more excited than my first review for a PS5 game is Spider-Man Miles Morales. I absolutely loved the 2018 Spider-Man and I consider it to be the best superhero game made next to Batman Arkham City. Given how this is a follow-up to the 2018 game and you play as Miles Morales, I was so up to see how Miles would do in his own standalone game. And by the way, before I go on, I do want to mention that the footage that you're seeing is captured, of course, from a PS5, and I'm only showing footage from the first hour or two of the game. Anyways, getting right into it, what did I think of Spider-Man Miles Morales? Simply put, this is an excellent game and a terrific follow-up to the 2018 game with some minor flaws. Getting into the plot, Spider-Man Miles Morales takes place after the events of the 2018 Spider-Man, and as you could probably imagine, we follow Miles Morales in the winter wonderland of New York. I don't want to say too much in terms of the plot, but I can say this. After a certain event in the beginning, Peter Parker is off with Mary Jane, and Miles Morales has to step up as Spider-Man. And since that Peter Parker Spider-Man is known as the Spider-Man that New York knows, Miles Morales essentially is known at the start as the other Spider-Man. At the same time, there's an enemy known as the Tinker that Miles must stop to save New York, and Miles must also prove himself as Spider-Man. So one of the reasons why I was so excited to play this game was because it would be Miles' first game. After Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, to which, if y'all haven't seen it, watch it. I mean, seriously. Stop what you're doing right now and watch it immediately. Spider-Verse made me really excited to see that not only there was more than one Spider-Man, but to me it seemed like that Miles had the more relatable and the underdog story out of the two Spider-Men. But that's probably just me. One thing in particular that I absolutely loved about the story was that Miles had to prove himself as Spider-Man since that Peter Parker wasn't there and put his trust into Miles to being the hero of New York. There was one particular moment near the end of the game and I said out loud, "Peter taught you well, buddy. Now kick their asses." I love the character development too, especially for one of the villains. Even though you can see why the villains are doing what they're doing, you still want to bring them down. There's more I do want to say, but I'll save that for later. Also, the voice acting is great too, especially from Najee Jeter as Miles. I am so sorry if I butchered your name too. He does such a great job of playing a character that is the underdog, as I mentioned. Another voice in the game is Troy Baker, who never does a bad job in my eyes, but once more, I'll have a little more to say about that in a bit. Let's get into something that I know you guys want me to talk about. The graphics. As you all know, Spider-Man Miles Morales is not only on the PS4, but the PS5 as well, which is the copy that I'm playing. And I gotta tell you all, on the PS5, the game looks fucking amazing. And it's even better knowing that on the PS5, the game supports 4K graphics with ray tracing, which by the way means even more natural lighting and even more detail. Combine that with the winter setting in New York, and let me tell you, you have some stunning visuals to say the least. And by the way, not only can you play this game with 4K resolution at 30 frames per second, but you can also play at 4K with 60 frames, and it looks absolutely amazing. You even see the tiniest details in the suits and even the characters' faces. Not to mention with bright colors in certain parts of the game, it feels like they are bouncing off the screen. Speaking of the suits, one thing that I absolutely love is that you can actually play with the suit from Spider-Verse, and to add on top of that, you can set it so that the suit moves from the frame rate of the movie. Combine that with a 30 or 60 frames per second of the game, and it looks beautiful. On to the gameplay, what I will say is this. Spider-Man Miles Morales plays almost exactly like the 2018 game does. The combat and traversal remain relatively the same. You swing around to your missions while also stopping crimes that happen in the process, gaining experience points to level up, unlocking gadgets, and unlocking new suits. There are some slight but great changes. By the way, there is a quest that involves getting certain music beats that I absolutely loved, and I don't want to spoil for you guys, but let me just say this, it was one of my favorite aspects of the game. One of my favorite changes, and this is just a small tweak, but trust me, it makes all the difference, is seeing the movement of Miles when he swings. He flails in certain ways. Actually, just like he does in Spider-Verse, which is amazing, but it gives him his own sense of flair. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but the combat and the web swinging actually feels even more fluid than they did in the 2018 game. And by the way, the Venom hits that Miles was known for also make an appearance, and not only did they look so goddamn cool, but they're so much fun to use along with using the camouflage during the stealth sections. Otherwise, it's pretty much the exact same gameplay, just feels way more fluid in terms of the combat and the web swinging. Also, I absolutely love the music, and what I love even more so is how it goes along with Miles' character, with the music going from jazz in certain parts to beats, hip-hop. It really makes it feel like Miles' own game. Also, by the way, the game in terms of price is only $50, which is actually really nice. Unless if you do want to spend $70 for the Ultimate Edition, which comes remastered. But honestly, I don't think you need it unless if you really want Spider-Man Remastered. One more thing I'll say about the game is this. The ending is damn terrific, and it makes me very excited to see what they'll do with a third game, especially after the post-credit scenes. Do not skip them. Like I mentioned earlier, I do have a few minor issues with this game. Starting with the story, I will not lie that there are some parts of the game that feel like that just happen. There is a moment in particular that could have been so emotionally powerful, but the way it goes down, it doesn't hit the beat as hard as it could have. Also, in terms of the length, the game is actually considerably shorter than the 2018 game. If I remember correctly, the 2018 Spider-Man took me about, I want to say, between 15 to 20 hours to beat, and that includes the Platinum Trophy. Spider-Man Miles Morales took me about, now, without considering the Platinum Trophy because I haven't gotten it yet, Miles Morales took me around 8 to 10 hours to beat. I'm still going to continue so I can get the Platinum Trophy, but in terms of the actual campaign and doing the side quests for what I have done, the game took me about 8 to 10 hours to beat. And yes, while it is a shorter game, that in terms of the price tag, it is justified when it comes to the length. One thing that I do want to add on is one of the villains. Troy Baker does such a great job of playing one of the villains. However, in terms of his motivation, the character was just so generic and cliche. Given how Troy Baker is one of the best voice actors today, I feel like that given his talent, it was just too good for this character. Overall, the best way that I can describe Spider-Man Miles Morales is saying that it's basically Uncharted Lost Legacy for Spider-Man. However, this game is way better than Uncharted Lost Legacy. Spider-Man Miles Morales is an excellent follow-up to the amazing 2018 game. In some ways, it is the same game as the 2018 game. However, they do tweak up the littlest aspects in the best ways possible, along with a great story to make this game a fresh game for an awesome character. All in all, I am going to give Spider-Man Miles Morales a 9 out of 10. I know that many out there are skeptical of buying a new console, but I gotta say, this is an awesome launch title for the PS5 while also being available on the PS4. But I will definitely say, guys, if you're looking for that killer app for the PS5, even if it's a tad bit shorter, buy a PS5 with Spider-Man Miles Morales. And also, Demon Souls. Alrighty guys, and that is going to wrap it up for my review of Spider-Man Miles Morales. Please comment down below, let me know, what did you guys think of Spider-Man Miles Morales, or are you still trying to find a PS5, or what did you prefer, either this game or the 2018 game? Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat and Stardust. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links in the usernames are in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Spider-Man Miles Morales. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for whenever the latest video of mine goes live. If you guys want to see any of my previous 2 videos, please click on the left or right side of the screen. And of course, until my next review, I will see you guys next time.